T-Bird fans, we welcome you to a brand new edition of T-Bird Talk. I'm Cloud County Community College Sports Information Director, Toby Nosker. A busy week in T-Bird sports kicked off Wednesday night as the Cloud County Community College volleyball team battled down the stretch, but ultimately fell in 4 sets to the Hutchinson Blue Dragons at the Hutchinson Sports Arena. Set scores were 8-25, 13-25, 26-24, 16-25. Sophomore Brady Medina posted a team-high 9 kills and 11 digs. Sophomore Chloe Weymouth added 5 kills and 4 blocks, including 1 solo block. Sophomore Emery May had 5 kills, 3 block assists, and 3 digs. Freshman Caroline Schrader collected 5 kills and 2 block assists, while freshman Carly Colgren finished with 3 kills, 3 digs, and 2 block assists. Freshman Maria Clara Lopez Miranda tallied 15 assists, 3 digs, 2 service aces, and 2 block assists. Sophomore Ashley Suter added 9 assists. Freshman Rachel Chakeen chipped in 6 digs. Freshman Grace Rowland provided 2 kills and 5 digs, while freshmen Berkeley Curtis and Beatrice Giusti each added 3 digs. The Cloud County Community College volleyball team comes back home to host a non-conference triangular this Friday in Arleigh Bryant Gymnasium. Cloud County will open play against the Otero Junior College Rattlers at 2 p.m. Otero will face the Southeast Community College Bobcats at 4 p.m. And then the T-Birds will close out the night against the Bobcats at 6 p.m. All 3 matches will be streamed live on the T-Bird Sports Network at the Cloud County Community College athletic website, cloudtbirds.com. Then the following morning, the Cloud County Community College women's and men's cross-country teams will return from their 2-week break as they head to Lincoln, Nebraska to compete in the Woody Greeno J. Dirksen Invitational. The race will be held at Mahoney Park Golf Course, co-hosted by Nebraska Wesleyan University and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. After posting the best finish among 2-year schools at its season-opening meet, the Cloud County Community College women's cross-country team has moved up 2 spots to number 9 in the 2024 NJCAA Division I Women's Cross-Country National Coaches Poll, which was released this week by the U.S. Track and Field and Cross-Country Coaches Association. The T-Bird men, meanwhile, are ranked number 22 in the country. Want to wish the best to the Cloud County runners as they hit the course this Saturday in Lincoln, Nebraska. Of course, we want to wish the best to the T-Bird volleyball team as well, as they will be in action at home on Friday for a triangular, and then 2 conference matches at home next week against Butler Community College and Pratt Community College. Now, 2 other fall sports are happening right now at Cloud County, as both the Cloud County Community College baseball and softball teams have their fall sports schedule underway. On today's edition of T-Bird Talk, we'll have an opportunity to visit with the head baseball coach at Cloud County, Eric Gilliland. But up first, we will talk to new Cloud County Community College softball coach TJ Segebart, as well as new T-Bird assistant softball coach Morgan Russell. This is T-Bird Talk.
Are you a Kansas or Nebraska high school senior who's thinking about your next steps after high school? If so, you qualify for Cloud County Community College's $500 Early Bird Scholarship. All you have to do is visit campus before December 13th and have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and you get a $500 scholarship guaranteed. So come visit Cloud and see why our students are Cloud proud. On your visit, you'll see our campus, meet with an academic advisor, and get a chance to have all your questions answered. Set up your campus visit today by giving us a call at 800-729-5101 extension 212 or visiting us online at cloud.edu/admissions.
The Cloud County Community College of volleyball and cross-country teams are not the only sports happening this fall. Of course, fall ball also underway for the Cloud County Community College baseball and softball teams. And joining us right now, we have the 2 new coaches with the Cloud County Community College softball program. Joining us is head coach TJ Segebart, and also with us, a new assistant coach, Morgan Russell. And I appreciate the 2 of you taking time to join us. And TJ, new to the softball program as far as stepping into the head coaching role, but not new to Cloud County Community College. You've been in the community for a while. If you don't mind, give us a little bio of yourself and a little bit of background as it relates to your coaching experience here at Cloud.
Yeah, so I actually grew up in Cuba, Kansas, just north of here, kind of a small little village of about 80 people. Went there until 2006 or 2008. That was my 8th grade year before we moved to Council Grove. After high school, went to Butler Community College, played baseball there for 2 years. Whenever I was done playing at Butler, went to K-State, finished up my degree, and got lucky enough to coach a summer baseball team that Coach Gilly here on the baseball team was actually recruiting a kid from. Through the conversations with the head coach of that team and Coach Gilly, somewhere along the way, Gilly mentioned he was looking for a baseball assistant. My name got brought up, so I moved to Concordia the fall of 2017. Essentially have been here since, kind of working various roles. So I new to softball, but I give Coach Gilly a lot of credit of kind of who I am as a coach, what I believe in, what we try to do. You see what he did with the baseball program and the turnaround that he's made, and that's kind of what I want to do with softball. That's my goal. That's my vision. Is I don't want to say copying him because they are things I actually believe in, and I think are important. But he's definitely been my kind of mentor throughout this whole process.
Last year, you did have an opportunity to serve as an assistant coach of sorts with the college softball program. I know you came on to help them as a hitting coach. Tell me about that chance to kind of step in and work with the girls for the first time.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I was pretty nervous. I have a lot of belief in kind of what I teach and my coaching. But being around a new demographic, 18 to 20-year-old girls, it's not really something, I've been around a whole lot. So I definitely went in there with some nerves, just hoping they weren't going to eat me alive. And, anytime you bring a stranger into your house and basically say, hey, listen to him from here on out, you can get some mixed reviews, I suppose. But they really, I think they wanted to learn. I think they were looking for somebody to kind of coach them up, and I guess in my opinion, I think they really took to my coaching, and that's kind of what led me here today was their good reviews, the way that they really gravitated towards me. So, if they would have maybe not taken me in stride, I don't know if I'd be here today. So it was really last year that gave me the confidence of, I think I can be around them, and, I think I can make this work.
And at the end of last season, when the position came open, I heard from several players on the Cloud softball team that said, I hope TJ gets it. I hope TJ's going after it. And I didn't know what your interest level was at the time. So when you heard about the position coming open this summer, tell me about your interest ultimately, and why did you decide to take on this position?
Yeah, it was there was a lot of thoughts definitely going through the mind. I enjoyed my time in the admissions office. They're great down there. Brittany and Bailey and Jaden, really enjoyed being around them. My time as an admissions counselor was fun. You get to interact with a lot of students. Essentially you're recruiting out there. And my kind of thought process was, I could recruit for the college or I could recruit for a sport. Definitely have experience being with baseball. I missed being on a field. I missed competing. I missed, everything that sports brings to someone's life. And I always kind of joke, I think it's my calling is to be a coach or, be around athletics to some extent. So had some talks with my fiance, and at the end of the day, we just thought I'd be crazy to not at least try. So went into it, obviously with a lot of confidence, but knowing that maybe there was some things on my resume I lacked. So didn't have the highest hopes, but, said if nothing else, I'm going to go down swinging. And, luckily things worked out in my favor, and here we are, and couldn't be happier.
What's it been like stepping in now, your first head job, and a lot more responsibility, a lot more things that you're probably having to manage than, your previous roles as an assistant with the baseball program? Yeah,
I'm learning something new every day, whether it's, my mistakes or Steve yelling at me because, I'm not keeping everyone in the loop like I should be. I'm hoping to get through some of these growing pains and really just, be a complete coach and do all the little things. But I really am learning every day how to handle the girls, how to, communicate with you and the rest of the athletic department, how to communicate with Coach Mo. It's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun. I'm really, glad I'm here. I'm glad that I have the support system that I do. within the athletic department, within the college. I mean, everywhere I go, everyone's always stopping me. How's the team looking? Coach Mo's been awesome. I wouldn't be able to do this without her. So it's been great with everyone here, and without everyone, I don't know what type of shape I'd be in right now.
Talking with TJ Segebart, again, the new head softball coach at Cloud County Community College. And I had mentioned in a previous conversation I had here on the show with athletic director Matt Bouchard that maybe the most critical and crucial decision you make as a head coach is finding your assistant coach. Coach Morgan Russell, tell me about being able to bring Morgan onto the staff and the impact that she's had for you already. Yeah,
so I'm a big believer that everything happens for a reason. It's just kind of how I've lived my whole life is, if something goes wrong, it's meant to. There will always be that good that comes from something. And so when I got hired, I'm well aware, there's things in the sport of softball that, maybe my knowledge is lacking or, just the feel of the sport. And so I knew immediately I needed somebody that's played the sport at a high level. I need somebody that's been around it collegiately as well. There wasn't a whole lot of candidates laying around. I thought that's something I could just be able to swoop up with the first couple days and, move on and get to recruiting. But that was a lengthy process, and I won't go into the crazy timelines of everything, but basically whenever I reached out to Morgan, she had about 24 hours to make a decision. Luckily, she decided to come here. So her background is, she does everything. She was a catcher in college. She played on a World Series team. So she's really done a whole lot of good things within her career. So she can help with hitting. She can help with catching. She's done infield. I would say her biggest strength is pitching. And that was kind of that's something I knew that I needed, was a pitching background. And so just talking to her on the phone, I think we share a lot of the same ideas, philosophies, just kind of mindset. And so I knew that we were going to click. It was just, pray to God she says yes. And like I said, here she is now. She's living on campus. She's helping around the college. So outside of softball, she's able to impact the entire college too. And I think she's been enjoying it so far. We both like the small town vibes, and Cloud's been really accepting of her so far.
Coach Mo, why did you say yes? Tell me about the decision to join Coach Segebart here at Cloud.
So I had got a text after I was already looking through a couple of other options that I had. Both of the other options I had came with some sacrifices and weren't exactly what I was looking for. And when I got on the phone with him, I realized that we have very similar histories, not only in playing, but also in coaching. We also have a lot of the same mentality as it goes to our priorities in coaching these girls. We both agreed that not only are we coaching them athletically, but we're raising young women, and that's something that I really take pride in with my position. I came to campus to feel it out. Like I said, I had some other options that I was looking at, but Cloud County was very accepting. I feel a lot of sense of community here, and that's something that I haven't had before, and I really enjoy it.
Not too far from where you grew up. You're familiar with North Central Kansas, a graduate of Salina South. I know you played college ball down at Bethany College in Lindsborg, Kansas. Getting into coaching, tell me about that decision for you. I know most recently serving as an assistant out at Highland Community College, but was this something you were desiring to do, that you felt like you wanted to be able to give back to the sport that gave you so much?
That's exactly what it is. I absolutely wanted an opportunity to give back to this sport. I feel like I've been raised in this community, and I feel like I've been raised in this sport, and I enjoy being able to give back to that. I never saw myself being a full-fledged coach, assistant coach. Initially coming out of college, I was kind of expecting to just get my master's out of it, be a grad assistant somewhere. I didn't end up doing that. I went to go work a big girl job and worked as a customer service manager. And when I got the opportunity to come back and be a coach, it was a no-brainer. I did not want to spend 40 hours a week of my life doing something that I didn't think mattered to the community, mattered to me. And being able to provide guidance in a place where I didn't feel like I had it at one point. I take a lot of pride in being able to do that. Like TJ said, everything happens for a reason, and I 100% believe that this is what I'm meant to be doing right now at this point in my life.
Coach Segebart, what was the recruiting process like? Coming on a little late maybe in that process, having conversations with girls from last year's team. I know a handful of them back this year. But kind of tell me about what a whirlwind it was, not only trying to find a new assistant coach, but then putting together a team that you're going to be able to compete with this season.
Yeah, so I'd say it started with the current group of sophomores that we have. Right before I interviewed, I mean, I didn't even know if I was hired or had the job, but, I felt the need to reach out to them and just say, hey, here's where we're at. I'm trying. If I get the job, where will you be? I needed to know where I was, returning roster-wise. And basically most of them said, if you get the job, I'm back. And so that was good. That gave me a decent foundation. So once I got the job and knew that we had those girls locked in, we were at about 9 total for the roster, or a little bit more than that, with the incoming freshman that was signed with the previous coach. So I think we were at like 12. And so I knew that 12 wouldn't get us through. So basically I hit the ground running this summer. I was gone almost every weekend, just out on the ground, trying to meet new coaches, really just connect within the softball world. And so meeting new coaches, I tried staying away from the big national tournaments that, every coach in the country's at. I tried to go to the small ones, just knowing I'm kind of the new guy on the scene. I'm not going to steer any girls away from KU right now. So it was kind of finding some of the under the radar recruits that were maybe questioning, what their next step was going to be after high school. And we're at 17 right now, roster size. So, almost doubled the roster this summer. And more importantly, I think we found girls that really fit the culture I'm trying to build. It wasn't just sign anyone up that wants to play college softball. Believe it or not, I actually was kind of picky on who I brought on. And we have a lot of girls that are bought into what me and Coach Mel are trying to teach, what we're trying to coach, and, what we're trying to do, as people. So it makes our lives easier.
What is that culture that you speak of?
So culture here, it's be good people, be a good person, be a good student, be a good athlete. I know, no matter what sport you're going into, basketball, baseball, softball, there's a 99% chance you're going to be a professional in something other than that sport. So softball is a big priority here. I want these girls to come bust it, every single day and give me everything they have. But some things are bigger than softball. So we want to be really good in the classroom. We want to be really good in the community. We know Concordia is a small town, and when our girls, if you see them out eating, we want people to stop and talk to them and ask about their game. And I want people to come to me and say, I met a couple of your girls and man, they're such sweethearts, or, whatever it may be. And so there is a level, obviously, of softball where we want to compete and we want to kind of turn things around. But at the end of the day, it's about impacting others. It's about just being a good people, changing someone else's life.
I know the two of you have really hit the ground running with the team to start this fall. Already 3 fall doubleheaders underneath your belt. You're making a trip to McPherson this weekend to compete at Central Christian College, and then back at home next Thursday where you will host Kansas Wesleyan University for a doubleheader that is a noon start time at the Cloud County Community College softball field. TJ, speak to what the fall season means, what you're focusing in on with these girls and their development at this time.
Yeah, so I'm a big believer that if you want to be a winner, you have to practice winning. Winning doesn't just happen overnight. You have to learn how to win. You have to learn how to close out a close ball game. So we are going into this fall with the mentality of we want to win. I know, at the end of the day, the records don't matter. We could go undefeated. We could lose every game, and it does not affect our spring at all. But I want to try to win, but at the same time, we are giving a lot of opportunities out. We have scripted lineups. So, If it's a tied ball game, bottom of the 7th, I'm not going to pinch hit, for a matchup that maybe might be more favorable. We're going to let it play out at the end of the day. But I've been really pleased with everything so far. My two big things are attitude and effort. If you come to the ballpark with a good attitude, and just ready to work your tail off, I'll let the results speak for themselves, whether they're good or bad. And we really haven't had to fight that too much this fall so far. Granted, we've played some high school teams. We're probably expected to win those games, but we're taking care of business for the most part. We're controlling our game. We're throwing a lot of strikes on the mound, a lot of 2-out hits. Defense has been relatively clean so far.
Morgan, for you, give me kind of an assessment. How do you feel like the girls' attitude and effort has been so far to start this fall?
I've been pleased with their attitude and effort. I always say that we shouldn't be able to tell whether we're winning and losing. If I look in the dugout, the attitude, the effort the energy should be the same no matter what. I think the girls have been able to see how their energy can really affect a game. Our first doubleheader of the season, we had a really, really clean 13 and a half innings. And then the last half inning, they got a little bit complacent. They weren't pushing as hard. And they saw it. They saw how that affected their gameplay. And since then, I don't think we've had those dips in energy. I think they really learned from that one moment. I also think the girls have been really good at supporting each other. They have been cheering each other on as much as they can. They've been picking each other up. And I'm excited to see it get more intense. I want to see more intensity out of them. They've definitely been doing their jobs, but I'm ready to see their confidence build to where they can be more intense in their games.
And again, these are scrimmages, they're exhibitions. There's no result that really matters, right? It doesn't affect your standings, the spring, none of that. But it's an opportunity for you guys to evaluate them, to make sure that the pieces you want to see come next spring, it's where you want to be as far as the development of their game. But then one of the things you kind of alluded to, a lot of these kids don't know each other. They've just come to campus. They're brand new in a community they don't know. They're trying to adjust to life on their own for the first time. And this fall season really gives them, Morgan, an opportunity to, just to get to know each other as teammates and as friends. And it's a chance to kind of bond over a game that they're all passionate about that they love.
Yeah, I think some of the best games that will help us grow in the future are the games that we lose, because you get to see a different side of your teammates, you get to see a different side of your coaches, and it gives you a little bit of fire. It gives you a little bit of fire to be able to do better, to want to do better, to not be complacent. They are at the point where they do know each other a little bit better. So it's those little things that are out of the ordinary that we're going to be looking at.
Coach Segebart, I know everything kind of came fast and furious over the course of the summer, from when you got hired to hiring your assistant coach to finishing up the recruiting to finally school arriving. How much fun is it just to be able to get out on the weekends, be in the dugout, and just play softball?
Yeah, I'm sure my fiance is not a huge fan of everything happening right now with our wedding coming up, but it's awesome. I mean, it's being out on the field, whether it's a baseball field, a softball field, whether I'm playing or coaching or chalking the lines before the game. I mean, I enjoy being out there. I enjoy, mowing the grass. That's kind of like I said earlier. I mean, I feel like being on a field, coaching is my calling. I mean, I enjoy the little things. And so it's been absolutely awesome. Really happy to be in this position. I mean, really thankful for everyone here at Cloud. So it's been kind of a dream come true, really.
People have an opportunity to come out and watch some fall ball again next week, September 26th, 12 p.m. The T-Birds going to be matching up with Kansas Wesleyan University in a doubleheader. And then that weekend, they're also going to be hosting a triangular, as they'll be taking on the Central Kansas Lady Crushers as well as the Smoke. That'll be September 29th. It's a Sunday. The first game starts at 10 a.m. The second game for Cloud County will be at noon. And people can also find a detailed schedule up at cloudtbirds.com. Now, before I let you go, I know the Cloud County softball program, and Morgan, you're helping to organize this, is going to be hosting a T-Bird softball camp that's going to take place Saturday, November 9th. It'll be happening out at the Cloud County softball field. The camp open to all participants in grades 9 through 12. The opening session from 9 a.m. to 10:30 will focus on pitchers, and then skill development with position players will take place from noon to 3 p.m. The pitching session's $25. The second session is $75 or $100 for both sessions. So, Morgan, tell me a little bit about the camp and how excited are you to be able to bring some area kids in and have them work alongside you and some of the student athletes here at Cloud?
So I'm really excited to be able to work with some of the area kids as well as some younger kids. Up at Highland, I did a lot of individual lessons, and I loved working with the community. It helps me feel much more involved. It helps people know a little bit more about me and understand my energy. And I'm excited to develop kids. There's a lot of kids around the area. I know coaching is a little scarce around our area. And I enjoy being able to give the kids different looks, different motivations, different skills, just a different idea of softball. And I like to be able to develop these kids. They can take what they want, they can leave the rest, but it also gives us a chance to get a look at the kids that are in the area for recruiting purposes. I like to work with them one-on-one rather than just going out and watching tournaments, because I like to see what kind of work ethic the kids have. I like to see what kind of energy they bring to practices. And yeah, I'm really excited to just have another chance to develop some other kids.
Spots are limited, though, because I know you want to get a little more personable with them and work with them. And so the sooner people sign up, the better. Again, the event itself is Saturday, November 9th. Registration will close on November 5th, but you can find an electronic registration form up at cloudtbirds.com. From the menu tab, just click Camps, and you will see the 2024 T-Bird Softball Camp. You can click on that, find out more information, and learn how to register. But again, I want to say thank you to both of you for coming on to visit with us, and best of luck as you make your way through the fall season, and I'm sure we'll have more conversations down the road. But thank you so much for being here today.
Are you a Kansas or Nebraska high school senior who's thinking about your next steps after high school? If so, you qualify for Cloud County Community College's $500 Early Bird Scholarship. All you have to do is visit campus before December 13th and have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and you get a $500 scholarship guaranteed. So come visit Cloud and see why our students are Cloud proud. On your visit, you'll see our campus, meet with an academic advisor, and get a chance to have all your questions answered. Set up your campus visit today by giving us a call at 800-729-5101 extension 212 or visiting us online at cloud.edu/admissions.
And now we want to welcome into T-Bird Talk, Cloud County Community College head baseball coach Eric Gilliland, as we'll talk about the fall 2024 for the Cloud County baseball team. But I guess, Coach, first let me just ask, a moment ago we just had TJ Segebart, the new head softball coach at Cloud on. Of course, his introduction to Cloud County was through you and coming on board to be an assistant coach with the Cloud County baseball team. How excited are you for him to see him be able to step into this new role as a head coach, knowing what he can bring to a program?
Yeah, I'm tremendously happy for TJ, and I got to go out and watch their game the other day, their fall game against Hastings, and it was cool to see him out there. Just this whole profession chews some people up and spits them out, and when guys come and work for us, like it's I came up in the same role. It's a lot of hours. It's not a lot of pay. It's not for everybody. And so all the guys that help us out that we've had over the years, I'm tremendously loyal to and really want to see it work for them. And to see TJ make that choice to cross over and get the full-time, the head job, and get to run a program how he wants to, it's pretty awesome. He's a passionate guy. He's one of the best people I know that he loves the game. He wants to have a job with a purpose and make an impact. And he's got a huge vision for Cloud softball. And so really happy that our college decided to give TJ the opportunity, and I don't think that they'll be disappointed in the long run.
You come to it from an interesting, but I think a nice perspective in that you realize, both from a player standpoint and even the assistants that you get an opportunity to work with, the ultimate goal, the ultimate dream for all of them is not necessarily to be here at Cloud County, right? That was a goal for you. We can talk about that, but that this is a step maybe on their journey. And so you're excited to see them when they can take another step, and it's great that TJ at least is staying in house and part of the Cloud family.
Yeah, no, I've said it all the time, and we're all here for a reason, and most of our assistants that we've had over the years are only here because they're inexperienced or they need some resume builders. They need to learn, and so we get a lot of young guys that will eventually have tremendous careers. And so like one of them, for example, is Eric Dorton, who was the first guy that I hired here at Cloud, is now the hitting coordinator for the Texas Rangers, the world champions. And he went from an assistant at Cloud on a team that had won 9 games the year before to now developing hitting plans for the best hitting program in the entire country. And so that's the goal. And I am, sometimes around here people are worried about assistants leaving, and I am ecstatic when our guys get full-time. I know how hard they work, how much they give, how much dedication and sacrifice it takes to do it here, that when they get the opportunity to get those big jobs, I'm ecstatic. We'll find somebody. You know what I mean? We'll find the next one. But we're all here trying to, not all of us, but a lot of people are here trying to move on, our players and our coaches, and that's what's part of the great thing about Cloud is we're a stepping stone in some ways. For some people, it's a place to stay forever. But for some guys, it's a start, and it can launch them into amazing things.
Speaking of one of those guys, former T-Bird, Eric Zabrowski, who played here under you at Cloud County Community College. This year got called up to the major leagues as part of the Cleveland Guardians system, and he's been able to pitch out of their bullpen. I know he called you when he got called up. Speak to that moment and how excited you were for him, but also, what does that say maybe to your current crop of players to see a guy that came through this system, maybe didn't know, what lied ahead, but can reach kind of this ultimate destination of playing in the big leagues?
I think it's probably one of my proudest moments ever as a coach. Wins and losses aside, these guys getting to fulfill their dreams is what it's all about. He called me at 11:30 at night, and when you get a call late at night, it's usually good or bad, really good or really bad. I had a feeling what this one was because he's been knocking on the door for a while, so I made sure to answer, and to hear him say I'm going to the show was pretty special, and to get to go to Kansas City. They played at Kansas City that next week and got to go down on the field and talk to him, and I don't think I've missed a live pitch. My wife doesn't love that I now have a new hobby every night to watch the Guardians in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, but it's been quite a thrill to watch him, and the success he's had is no surprise to me. He's one of the most well put together people between the ears that I've ever been around, and he combines that with what we're finding out is one of the best fastballs in the entire world. Just so happened that he came through Cloud along his way. So,
and again, what does that kind of illustrate, do you think, for your current players?
Yeah, I mean, it can happen to anybody, and that's we don't have a magic pill here. We really didn't have a lot to do with developing Eric. Right place, right time. We gave him an opportunity. We probably helped him with some things along the way, but he was born with an amazing fastball, and he's a tremendous competitor that combined all of that. But we have a lot of other success stories, not just Eric, that's what keeps our players going. They come here to go to the next level, and to see a guy like Mason McConaughey, who's going to start on Friday night for Nebraska, who came here without a scholarship, was a walk-on and worked his way up, and there's hundreds of stories like that, but none better than Eric Zabrowski, who's literally living a childhood dream, pitching in the major leagues. It definitely, not just Cloud baseball, but the entire junior college system benefits from that story because it keeps kids coming back. Hey, that could be me.
Your kids get an opportunity, at least some of them, to be able to showcase their skills coming up this weekend as the Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference is going to be hosting its sophomore showcase that's going to be taking place in Wichita this week. What does that look like for your kids?
It's a great opportunity to get in front of a lot of coaches. Every year, close to 100 colleges and pro scouts come and watch our sophomores work out at Wichita State. It's a pro showcase, so the guys do all the metrics, the 60 time, the throwing velocities, defensive evaluations, hitting velocities, batting practice, and then there's an all-star game that includes all of the returning all-conference players, plus a couple more from every team. There's an all-star game in the afternoon that everybody stays and attends. This time of year is huge for recruiting. The Division I recruiting calendar is open, and the schools are out. Just last weekend we played in front of 10 or 12 schools, LSU, Nebraska, Ohio State, big schools. So every time we'll go out for about the next month, there'll be eyes on our guys, and that's why they came here. So
is that a tough thing for you to manage, though? Because, these kids still have a year ahead, right?
Yeah.
Where they're going to be playing for you. Obviously, you want them to maintain some level of focus and excitement about what they can do and accomplish here at Cloud County, but also knowing that they've got eyes down the road on what may come.
I think a little bit of it comes back down to how you define success. And wins and losses are important. We're here to compete for a title, and I want to win a national title at Cloud. However, we have to be real about understanding that our players' true motivations are to come to Cloud and to move on to the next level. We love competitive kids that will play in a team culture and compete for a title, but at the end of the day, these kids from all over the country didn't dream of coming to Concordia to win a championship on Doyen Field. And so we have to kind of marry those concepts. We know your true motivation is to get recruited and to move on to play Division I baseball because that's the experience of a lifetime. Maybe even professional baseball, maybe make the major leagues like Eric did. But also marrying that concept that we're here to create a team as well and to win a title. This time of year is tough for that, because, just simple stuff like, team baseball goes slightly out the window for a guy that's trying to perform for his school, and so we battle that a little bit right now, and there is some challenges with that. But like I said, ultimately what it comes down to is how you define success, and our players moving on, and our players' goals and true motivations being reached here is a huge success for me. And so I love watching our players get recruited and move on to the next level.
Talking today with Cloud County Community College head baseball coach Eric Gilliland. Let's talk about the fall. You've been able to get some fall scrimmages and exhibitions in. Made a road trip to Barton County to match up with them. I know you had an opportunity to head up to Council Bluffs, Iowa, took on Northeast Community College and Iowa Western, one of the premier programs in the country. Hosted a couple of games here at Doyen Field as well. Tell me a little bit about how you approach the fall and how are things going?
So far, so good. Yeah, we try to play the best teams we possibly can in the fall because they don't count. In junior college, you basically get, some of these extended fall seasons. There's no stat sheet. There's not even like a true scoreboard, and so you basically get a slam 4 seasons into 2 years. And so our hitters will sometimes get as many as 100 at bats in the fall. It's a chance for them to experience college baseball and learn what it takes. And so we go play some of the best teams. That's why we play at Barton, and that's why we play Southeast. And those are teams that have been to the College World Series in the last few years. And Iowa Western's won 3 national titles in the last decade. And last year we got the opportunity to go play the University of Nebraska. And so it's much more process over result. That said, we're trying to, we're fighting out for jobs. It's the first evaluation period of our team. We've got 40 players and they can't all play, and so it's a competitive environment right now. The results, it matters, and guys are fighting out for position battles, and so a lot of that, and then just trying to get a little bit better every single day. It's baseball's unique in that we play a lot. Between the spring and the fall, there's 70 contests, and so we're trying to build towards being a team that can win in the postseason, and that's kind of hard to wrap your head around in August, but really just trying to clean the game up and put the best team out there that we can every single day out.
You got a good mix of sophomores and freshmen. Your sophomores have been through this grind. They know what it looks like. How are the freshmen handling the transition?
Good. We got a really more balanced than we thought. Freshmen are talented. We kind of recruited in a way this year with our freshmen that we went and signed guys that have had a lot of success, maybe not as high of ceiling and talent, but they've been really, really good. We've got a great batch of Kansas kids here this year. I mean, just yesterday at our scout day, we had 3 Kansas kids throw over 90 miles an hour. 2 of them were up to 93, one from Salina, one from Abilene. And so we got a really talented freshman group and guys that have been in the fire and had a lot of success. And then, combine that with the biggest sophomore class I've ever had, and especially big on the mound. 13 sophomore pitchers has helped us have a lot of success this fall. Things are just a little bit easier the second time around as a sophomore. Those kind of adversity moments, they don't get so big, and the snowball doesn't grow so big, and they're able to put fires out and handle situations. And so in junior college, if you can be old, you have a chance to be pretty good, and that's where we're at this year. But I also think we'll rely on a lot of freshmen too.
Not only do you coach, you've played at this level before, you know what it's like, but tell me about, because you mentioned it, there's competition right now between players for positions. They're all fighting amongst themselves for spots. But at the end of the day, you also want them to be a team.
Yeah.
How do you marriage those two things together?
It's a balancing act, and it's culture is what it is. And I think it starts with recruiting the right types of kids that come from good families and good programs that have emphasized the importance of selflessness and teamwork and those attributes that lead to a good solid team. The bottom line is not everybody is going to get the piece of the pie that they think they should, and that's why the culture is strong, to have the backbone to kind of support that. It would be a mess if everybody was selfish in a way that tore the team apart. I think that's where you go back to things like serving the community, serving the school, doing things that promote selflessness. That's not necessarily to get a thank you or a shout out for doing something cool. It's to create kids that are selfless and contribute to a team in a way that can make it all go well, even if it's not going well for them individually. And so we hope that at some point in time they all have their own shining moment, some more than others. I think we do a good job of trying to give everybody a lot of shots. But at the end of the day, yeah, you're right. It's bound to not go well for some of them. And so the fibers of your team kind of hold you together at that point in time.
We're talking today with Claude County Community College head baseball coach Eric Gilliland. Coach, I'm going to close it out with what we do each week. I call this our Final Four questions. Not necessarily all in relation to each other, but I'll just kind of throw out 4 questions for you. You give me your thoughts. But I want to piggyback off something you just said, the right types of kids. Tell me about the kids that you look for. What are the intangibles, the things that you're going after when you hit the recruiting trail?
Yeah, I tell guys this all the time. I like guys that I can trust off the field, that could be a role model for my kids, that I can send to the middle school and be the best recess quarterback and give high fives and be a role model for kids. But that same person I want to when the lines are down and the other teams in the other dugout, I want those guys to be big time competitors too. We don't. Some of the best players we've ever had have been the best of both worlds, where they're a humble and great human being off the field, but it's throwdown time when the game's on the line, and you can trust that they're going to compete at the highest level. And so that's the true makeup of a champion in my mind, is one that not only a great person but also a great competitor on the field.
Something I've long heard about you, and I've had a chance now since coming on board this summer and this fall to see, is that you really emphasize the student aspect of student athletes. I've always heard about those baseball kids are sitting in the front of the classroom. I know you guys are putting in a lot of study hall time. I see your kids constantly in the library as I walk through, studying, working on their classwork. What does it mean to you when I say student athlete at Cloud?
How you do anything is how you do everything, and that's kind of what we live by, and that's just being a champion at everything you do. We don't think there's a I don't want them to think they can just flip the switch and be a baseball champion. We want them to make those life decisions. If I'm in the classroom, I want to be the best leader in the classroom too. I want to participate. I want my teacher to know me. I don't want to be a distraction, and get an education. And that's how they do everything. That's the goal. Now, I think you're giving them a lot of credit. There's some headaches too. They're all kids and they're growing. They're all at different stages. They're not all angels. But the idea is that when you have a strong culture, they strive, they desire to do everything at the best of their ability, not just baseball. And so that includes going to the games and being the best student section in the Jayhawk. And I tell a story sometime about a team that, it's Iowa Western, to be honest. When Mark Reardon used to be there, they had won 3 titles in a decade, and And they beat us up and down one day in the fall, and after the game, I look out there, and their whole team's out on their turf field on their hands and knees in silence, picking up pebbles off of their turf field. They were maintaining their turf field better than anybody in the country. And I said, there's your lesson. That's how you do anything, is how you do everything. That's a team that just whooped your butt. They won 3 national titles in the last 10 years, and they're out there in silence, 40 guys on their hands and knees maintaining their surface. And they probably didn't even need to be because it's turf, but they were doing the little things. And so that's to me the fibers and the backbone of the culture is how you do anything is how you do everything, and the classroom is a big piece of that.
For those that don't know you and your story, you grew up in Concordia, Kansas. You're a graduate of Concordia High School. Your wife, Ambria, is a graduate of Concordia High School. You've come back. You're in your hometown. You're coaching baseball here at Cloud County. You get the opportunity to raise your children in the same school system that both of you grew up in. What does that mean to you to be doing this in your hometown?
It's, I'm living a dream job. I don't think I could have picked a better situation to have, and I'm extremely grateful to Matt Bichard for hiring me not once but twice. Probably the first time he took a bigger leap of faith when he hired me as an SID with no experience. But then Amber has continued to make this job a place that we can win at and have a ton of success at, and both of them I'm forever grateful for the opportunity. But yeah, to combine the opportunity to coach baseball and be with my family is pretty ideal.
Last question. Best piece of coaching advice that you've ever received?
I don't know if it's the best. I'd probably need some reflection time to really think. I've had some great role models and been around a lot of people that have influenced me in a lot of ways. I think a lot of things can be basically every problem can be solved with clear direction and accountability, and that's kind of the basis for everything that I do. Is okay, if I've explained something and I've set an expectation for how we want to do it, then you're going to get held accountable for it from there. And so that's every area of the program, all the way from breakfast. Breakfast is from 7:30 to 9, and if you're not there, here's what the penalty is. And so I think just I worked for great coaches in the beginning of my career. That was such a blessing that it taught me that it's hard work, but that kids need structure. They want structure, and provide them an expectation, a high expectation, and then hold them accountable to it. And I just had a kid walk into my office a little bit ago that said, I want negative feedback. I want you to tell me what you don't like about me. And that's one of my favorite players on the entire team. But he was craving that the little pieces of his game that I don't like so that he could go get better at them. And so I think all kids, they want to be held to a high expectation. And this has become a long answer, but at the end of the day, I think it's you get what you expect. And so if you have high expectations and you put people in your program that are high achievers, they're eventually going to get there. And so for my own kid, I wouldn't want anything less for him in 6th grade. I want a teacher that's going to push him to be the best that he possibly can be. And if he ain't doing it right, I want him or her to let him know. And so clear direction and accountability with a high expectation is probably how I would say that I run things, and that's not because I designed that. It's because I was taught by some really good coaches along the way. I played for good coaches, and I coached with good coaches that instilled that in me.
Coach, I'm sure we'll be having more conversations down the road, and I'm looking forward to visiting throughout the year with your student athletes as well. Best of luck at the Jayhawk Conference Showcase coming up this week in Wichita, and we'll talk to you again soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Toby.
That's Eric Gilliland. He's the head baseball coach at Cloud County Community College. It's a busy week at Cloud County Community College. The volleyball team going to be in action hosting a triangular at home on Friday as they welcome in Otero Junior College at 2 p.m. and Southeast Community College at at 6 p.m. And then this Saturday, the Cloud County Community College women's and men's cross-country teams are in action as they head to Lincoln, Nebraska for the Woody Greeno J. Dirksen Invitational. Coming up next week on T-Bird Talk, we're going to have an opportunity to visit with members of the Cloud County Community College women's and men's cross-country teams. New episodes of T-Bird Talk drop every Thursday, so make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. T-Bird Talk is a production of the Cloud County Community College Athletic Department.